Coming up after the break, no taxation without emigration. Workers have chased the American dream for centuries, so now why are more people giving up their US passports? So the phrase is, give me your huddled masses yearning to be free. You might as well also say yearning to pay taxes as well. Millions of people around the world would go a long way to get a US passport. But for US citizens living abroad, giving up the American passport, while rare, is getting that little bit more common. Why on earth would you do that, I hear you ask? The answer? Expats. US taxes on expats over $91,000. US expats are taxed on worldwide income. They pay taxes in their new countries, and they pay taxes, of course, on their US, within the United States, to the IRS. The United States is the only industrial country that has worldwide taxation. 502 US citizens gave up their passports in the last quarter of 2009, more than double the number in the previous year. And the waiting list at embassies to renounce citizenship is growing even bigger. Giving up citizenship means needing a visa to return like any other foreigner. So, once you've flown out and you've got rid of your passport, you go to the back of the line when it comes to giving up or to getting back into the United States. Is it worth it for all these reasons just to get rid of worldwide taxation? Richard Goldstein is a lawyer who specializes in the devilishly complex area of visas in the United States. And I asked him if the rise in numbers really showed a trend of people giving up the American dream.
If one looks, for example, at 2008, we had about 235 Americans who expatriated or renounced their citizenship. If you look towards 2009, the numbers went up to 743. 2010, we don't have final figures, but it appears to be about 1,200 to 1,300. So there is a substantial increase. Maybe that's the result of increased concern about income tax payments or estate tax planning. Maybe it's the result of the notoriety that it's being given by the press.
When you have a client who says to you, yes, look, I'm thinking of doing this for income tax reasons, or I'm thinking of just doing it because I don't live in the US anymore, what caveat do you tell them before they go ahead and do it?
Well, the first thing I do is tell them not to make an immediate decision. I'm American-born, although I live in the UK, and I'm a dual national with UK nationality as well. But my primary allegiance, my primary core of life is American. And as a lawyer, I do not like to see an American give up their American citizenship. We warn them, in effect, if they do this, there may be tax consequences by virtue of US tax law, which may deem it appropriate to ask them to pay what we call an exit tax if their assets exceed $2 million. Or alternatively, we may point out to them that it's going to limit their ability to live and work in the United States in the future once they give up their citizenship. Too many Americans tend to believe that if they give up their citizenship, they will be reduced down to permanent resident status, when in effect, when you give up your citizenship, you are in the same U.S. immigration status as anyone anywhere in the world who may need a visa or need to travel to the United States pursuant to what we call the visa waiver program.
Now, finally, as you looked at this and when you realized the numbers were starting to, albeit increase from a low level, were you surprised, Richard? Did you think, hang on, this is interesting, there's something going on here?
You have to remember as well, Richard, that lots of people in this world have acquired American citizenship by accident. They were born in the United States. Birthright citizenship, as you know, is a very controversial issue right now, but not everyone who was born in the United States wishes to remain an American citizen. And very often we see people who were born in the United States, left at a very early age with their parents, went to live overseas in Europe or in Asia, deem themselves to not be American despite the fact they're American-born. Their lives, Their center of gravity is European or it's Asian, and they view themselves as European or Asian and not American, and they're carrying the American passport simply by virtue of birth and are deemed to be U.S. tax resident for worldwide purposes as a result of that. There is therefore the inconvenience sometimes to people of being a dual national and needing to travel with multiple passports.